And good morning, everybody. My name is Brother Mark. I'm one of the licensed practitioners at CSL Redlands, and we welcome you to our Sunday morning meditation live via Zoom. And so what I know is right where you are, God is, and I invite you to consecrate this time of stillness and sacred silence as a holy time, as a spiritual practice where we don't try to receive anything, but we are willingly participating in the isness with the capital I and the allness with the capital A of God. And so let's just take some breathing in together, deep breaths in and out. Let's inhale in for a count of 1 together and exhale for a count of 2. Let's inhale for a count of 2. Easily exhale for a count of up to 4. And let's inhale in for a count of up to 3. With the slow and deliberate exhale out for a count of up to 6. We inhale in for a count of up to 4. The easy and gentle exhale out for a count of up to 8. Inhale in for a count of up to 5. The gentle exhale out for a count of up to 10. And inviting you now to simply return to your normal breathing pattern. Reminded that the power and the presence, the love and the grace of God is here and now. It's in this place, it's in this space, it's in me, it's in you. And is in the healing bowls that were so lovingly provided by Ashley Martin. We thank her for her gift, her generosity of her healing through the bowls that may play throughout our meditation. Inviting you to allow for yourself to be held and cradled in the arms of the divine. Just see yourself in your mind's eye. Allow, if you're willing, for the outer eyes to close. Just allow for the eyelids to drop to the closed position if you're willing. And think of the third eye, right in the center of the eyebrows, just the lower portion of the forehead to open. Your spiritual sight perfectly open, receptive to that which is most needed for your soul's perfect evolution at this moment in time. As we sit in the center of the center, perfectly held and rocked and cradled in the arms of the divine, just allow for yourself to feel held, with each breath sinking deeper into that hold, perfectly cradled, perfectly known, perfectly recognized, perfectly sourced and supplied, all needs met, right here and right now. We rest in this place. So just allow for yourself to become mindful of your heartbeat. Feel your heartbeat. God's heartbeat in you, as you, through you now. Feel and sense the pulse of God in, through, and as your very heartbeat now. You are the pulse of God. You are the pulse of God. Inviting you now just to become mindful of your breathing. Nice inhales in and easy, gentle exhales out, bringing you back to this very present moment in time. Allow for the heart space to fill with gratitude and praise for this time and these moments of sacred surrender and stillness, centering, allowing for any transformations to take place with ease and with grace, allowing for any and all healings, revelations to take place with ease and with grace. Bringing your attention back to this room, your place within the room that you're in. You may want to move around on your chair to make certain you can feel the chair supporting you or the couch. You may want to tap your fingertips together and your toes to the ground. Just being certain that you can feel the ground, Gaia, Mother Earth, supporting you. Knowing you're infinitely and eternally maintained, supplied, sustained with the power and the presence, the love and the grace of the divine. You are the pulse of God. Think to yourself, I am the pulse of God. I am the pulse of God. I am the pulse of God. God's heartbeat is my heartbeat now. God's heartbeat is my heartbeat now. God's heartbeat is my heartbeat now. And so this concludes our meditation for Sunday, December 20th, wishing you all a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you for participating with us. Inviting you to rise as we continue with our service with our musical director, Gilman Carver, and we come together. Peace and blessings. Namaste. Yay.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in a sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together, we come together in the name of love. Now look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in a sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together. Together in the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together in the name of every walk of life, every creed and color. In kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other, yeah. Now look at the person next to you, say namaste about you. Feel the love in a sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of love. We come together, yeah, we come together, oh, we come together in the name of love. We come together, yeah, we come together, oh, we come together in the name of love.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here online in our Sunday service, our Sunday experience. Let's give a nice big hand to Gilman for that opening song. We just love that because we do come together each and every Sunday morning. So thank you for joining us here. And if you haven't already done so, I'm going to invite you to wave to someone that's close to you or someone that's in the box next to you, or however that works for you. But be sure to greet someone today with all the love you have. And now we're going to move into the time for our centering music.
Some children see him lily white, the baby who was born this night. Some children see him lily white, with dresses soft and fair. Some children see him bronzed and brown, the light of heaven to earth come down. Some children see him bronzed and brown, with dark and heavy hair. Some children see him almond-eyed, the Savior whom we kneel beside. Some children see him almond-eyed, with skin of golden hue. Some children see him dark as they, sweet chosen one to whom we pray. Some children see him dark as they, and all they love him too. The children in each different place will see the baby's smiling face like theirs, but bright with heavenly grace and filled with holy light. Oh, lay aside each earthly thing, and with thy heart as offering, come worship now the infant King. 'Tis love that's born tonight.
And so I invite you now to join us together for our opening prayer and evocation as we turn within. Let's do that by taking in a nice deep breath in. And exhale out, letting go and releasing anything and everything that's preceding this moment in time. Just let it go. And as we breathe in together, we breathe in God's grace, the divine intelligence. And as we exhale out, we release anything and everything that does not match that perfect divine intelligence. And as we return to our normal breathing pattern, we're reminded that this power and this presence, this love, God, the infinite, the mother, the father, the universal good that can make order out of what in the human appears chaotic is here and now. It's the platform from which I speak this word. So it's from unity and oneness that I speak this word, knowing absolutely that each one of your needs is met right here and right now. Each one of my needs is met right here and right now. Each one of CSL Redlands needs is met right here and right now, for it is the infinite. It is the goodness and grace of God that created me. It created you. It created CSL Redlands as an idea. You're an idea in the mind of God, and therefore are always magnificently supplied and maintained and sustained with the abundance and the cash and the wealth and the health and the joy and the vibrancy and the wisdom and the intuition and the grace and the peace that passes human understanding. It is your birthright as a light, as a light on earth. You are the pulse of God. You are the heartbeat of God on earth. And this is what I know to be true. And so anything and everything that has held you down in the human, anything that is trying to withhold you from your highest and greatest yet to be, it has no real power. And let's break the chains of that right here and right now in this prayer. Just let it go. Just say no, no, no to the lower vibration. And yes, yes, yes to my good. Just say at home with me, yes to all my highest and greatest good right here and right now. And I know that it's upon you. I know that it's drenched upon you now by the divine. And it feels good to know this truth and to speak this word from a platform of knowing. And so all that I have to do, all that you have to do is the being, which sometimes is difficult. And I'm inviting you to consider making it easier by just breathing into it each and every moment. Allowing for your heart space to fill with gratitude as mine is filling now, as the fourth of 5 steps of our affirmative prayer, grateful heart. I know that this service is blessed and a blessing to each person whenever they tune in to hear it is the perfect divine appointment. I bless our senior minister and spiritual leader, Reverend Carrie Masters, for she is the mouthpiece for the divine this day. And I call forth for each of you listening within the sound of my voice to allow for your consciousness, see it in your mind's eye as fertile soil. Just see it as a beautiful, empty farm of fertile soil, allowing for all the seeds of greatness and good with a capital G to be manifest here and now with no delay. I know it and I can see it. I proclaim it and I speak it. And so I release my word to the law of life with this grateful heart, knowing indeed it is fulfilled right here and right now because I have declared it. And so it is so. And I invite you at home together to say with me, where we have 2 or more gathered, and so it is. So it is. And now we have Gilman with the song everybody knows, Good King Wenceslas.
Let's look down on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even. Brightly shone the moon that night, though the frost was cruel, when a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel. And darker now, and the wind blows stronger. Fails my heart, I know not how. I can go no longer. Oh, mark my footsteps, my good page. Tread thou in them boldly. Thou shalt find the winter's rage to freeze thy bloodless coldly. In his master's steps he trod, where the snow lay dinted. Heat was in the very sod which the saint had printed. Therefore all good men be sure, wealth or rank possessing, ye who now will bless the poor, shall yourselves find blessing. Therefore all good men be sure, wealth or rank possessing, ye who now will bless the poor, shall yourselves find blessing.
Okay, and so today's reading comes from the Science of Mind magazine. It's from December of 1971, and it's from page 12, and it's written by Ernest Holmes. The Immaculate Conception, or it's at least a quote from Holmes, the Immaculate Conception, the virgin birth, and those things which we tie into traditional theology are as old as time. And they stand for the concept of the originating creative principle or power, God and the Word of God, operating through all things. This was called the Spirit of God, operating upon the soul of God, or the Father-Mother principle. It means that the divine creative Word operates in the physical universe, planting itself there by involution, and then by evolution, reaching back to heaven, to complete the cycle of creation.
Thank you, Mark. And thank you, Gilman, for that great music. You know how sometimes things don't go exactly as planned, and that happens with technology, just like we have experienced. But if we just sit quietly, it just all comes together. I have a story about Santa Claus and how things didn't quite come together for him one Christmas. You see, 4 of his elves got sick, and the trainee elves didn't produce the toys as fast as the regular ones, and Santa began to feel that pre-Christmas pressure. Maybe that's what we're feeling right now. Then Mrs. Claus told Santa her mother was coming to visit, which stressed Santa even more. When he went to harness the reindeer, he discovered that 3 of them were about to give birth, and 2 others had jumped the fence and were out. Heaven only knows where they went. Then, when he began to load the sleigh, one of the floorboards cracked and the toy bag fell through the bottom of the sleigh and toys scattered everywhere. Now, Santa was pretty frustrated, so he went in the house to get himself a cup of apple cider and a shot of rum. But when he got to the cupboard, the apple cider jug was empty, and looking behind it, there was no more rum. And in his frustration, he dropped the cider jug, which broke into a gazillion glass pieces all over the kitchen floor. So then he went to get the broom, and the mice had eaten all of the straw off the end of the broom. Just then, the doorbell rang, and an irritated Santa stomped to the door, yanked it open, and there stood a little angel with a great big Christmas tree. The angel said very cheerfully, "Merry Christmas, Santa. Isn't it a lovely day? I have a beautiful tree for you. Where would you like me to stick it?" And thus began the tradition of the little angel on top of the Christmas tree. Yes, sometimes we can get really frustrated and do things that we really didn't mean to do. And sometimes we can feel that Christmas blessing just allowing us to flow through it. So today I want to talk about how I started to want to talk about how everything happens all in one night. So we'll see how this comes out. You see, once in a while, Spirit plays with my talks while I'm asleep, and then I wake up and I have an aha, and I move forward with that aha, and a whole different talk comes out of my mouth. So let's just relax and see what happens here. This morning, when I woke up, one of the things that came to my mind was, this is December 20th. It's Christmas Sunday. And December 20th in my life holds significance because it is the anniversary date of my late husband's memorial. Now, I remember this date because all of a sudden the memorial was done and then here comes Christmas. So it was a very strange time for me. And as I was thinking about all of that, I realized I had been kind of a basket case the morning of the memorial, as you can imagine. And then I went down that road of thinking about all of the things that I had gone through during that time of his sudden passing. And I really got all caught up in my mind with all that I went through. And then I just started shaking my head and I said, no, 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 no. That was 23 years ago, Carrie. Back up. Where are you now? And so I made myself come into the present moment. And I think oftentimes we need to do that when we get stressed or when things aren't going just exactly as we planned. We need to bring our focus back to right now. What are we doing right now? There was a time when I was for a long time, I was an administrative assistant for an insurance company, and I had quite a stack of letters that needed to get out. And it was kind of overwhelming, but I knew I could do it. And the stack felt like it was just huge. So in the middle of my putting these letters out, my husband called. And he was on the road. He was a truck driver. He was on the road and he called and he just wanted to know how I was. And I said, well, I'm feeling a little bit frustrated and kind of overwhelmed because I've got this huge stack of letters to do. And then after that, I've got this report to finish from my boss. And here I go rattling it all off. And he said, Carrie, what are you doing right now? And I went, oh, yeah, I'm talking to you. You see, bringing ourselves back into that present moment is the way for us to really do away with living in the past or projecting our frustration into the future. So I want to also stress to us that in December and in the winter months, there's a lot of darkness outside because the days are shorter, nights are longer. And so as we live through this dark time, what we're doing is living in a time where we can sit quietly and allow the seeds of the ideas that we have to germinate in the soil in that darkness. We can allow ourselves to be still and know that we are the heartbeat of God, just as just as Mark said in the meditation this morning, we are the pulse of God. And when we sit still and recognize that, we're allowing ourselves to grow spiritually through that darkness. You see, when we plant a seed into the soil, it's in darkness, isn't it? And then that seed breaks open and begins to blossom and comes up through the top of the soil. And that's what we can do when we are in this time. Now, sometimes the darkness is a darkness that is inside of us. It's a time when we're reflecting back, perhaps, like I did this morning, reflecting back into a time that was a very dark and difficult time. And if we decide that we're going to just think about that and move through the feelings of that and then let it go, that's fine. The problem occurs when we decide that we're going to build a condominium in that darkness within us and just stay there. This is what keeps us stuck. And so it's important for us, once again, to come back to right now. What's happening right now? You see, the Christmas story, as we've known it through our lives, is a story that can be interpreted metaphysically. And that was done beautifully by our own Dr. Ruth Wilkerson, who wrote a booklet, The Metaphysical Christmas Story. And so today I want to focus on some of the metaphysical meanings of the Christmas story, and then we'll tie all of this up with a nice bow. So in the Christmas story in the Bible, you may know this, but there are two versions of the Christmas story in the Bible. One's in Matthew, and I believe the other is in Luke. And the one in Luke is the one that's quoted the most. There's no room in the inn, and the baby Jesus was born and wrapped in swaddling clothes, and the three wise men came, or the shepherds came, depending on which gospel you're in, and the angels sang, and it was a starry night, and all of that story has a very deep metaphysical meaning. The baby is representative of a new idea that's born within us. Now, I love how people have an idea and then they move forward with that idea, and it really brings them so much richness in their life, monetarily and otherwise. One of those people in my mind is J.K. Rowling and her series, her Harry Potter series, that really took her from being on welfare into being a millionaire. And this woman was riding on a train. She was commuting on a train in England where she lives. And the idea came to her for this fantasy life of Harry Potter. And when she got home, she immediately sat down to write. And within a relatively short period of time, she had her first book done. And it was picked up and made into a movie. And the story was bought by the United States movie people. And then, so we then had Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and everything just moved forward from there. And she is, I don't know, she's one of the richest women in England. But you see, it all started with that idea that was born within her on that train ride. And what happens is when we are in darkness, when we're in a place where we have silence and calmness and peacefulness, that's where those ideas come in. They drop into our awareness so that we can express them more beautifully than we ever imagined. I'm sure J.K. Rowling, her name is Joanne, I'm sure that Joanne had no idea that this idea would take her as far as it has. She also writes murder mysteries under another name. So see, we have this idea, this baby that's born within us. And then that idea is nurtured and sheltered and wrapped in love. And we wrap it in that love that is the creative force of the universe. Gentle, unconditional love surrounds this newborn. I'm sure that's what happened with J.K. Rowling and Thomas Edison and everyone else who had ideas. And then along come the three wise men, or the shepherds. The three wise men metaphysically represent wisdom, intelligence, and will. And those three qualities visit us at exactly the right time so that we can bring our idea into the light of being. And the thing about the star is that represents our intuition. Our intuition is the voice of the divine within us, and it guides us forward, as in the Christmas story, it guided the three wise men to where the idea, the baby Jesus, was born. So you see, according to scripture, the birth, the discovery by the three wise men, the angels singing, all seem to happen all in one night. All in one night. Sometimes when we have an idea, it's like a big aha, and the heavens open up and angels sing, and there's sparklers going off in our brain. All of this is happening up here in our thinking space. And it announces the arrival of newness for our life. And it all happens within our own consciousness. We work in the light of the intuition that's guiding us forward, and we begin to nurture and bless and work on the idea that has come to us. And then we take that idea is taken then out into the world in its visible form. Everything begins in the invisible. Everything that you're looking at, that you're sitting on, everything that you see and touch and taste and smell has been an idea, and it has taken form. It was an idea that was in the invisible, and now it's a form in the visible. Sometimes when we have an idea, we look for people to give us permission to do it. We look for people outside of ourselves to say, yes, you can do that. I had a very, very close friend. She's passed on now, but she was my yes person. Every idea I came to her with, she said, oh, yes, you must do that. And if the idea didn't work out, she'd say, oh, okay, well, what's another idea? She was representing to me the creative law of the universe. And when I told her that one time, she said, really? Me? And I said, absolutely. You are the one who represents the law in my mind. And the law always says what? Yes. The law always says yes. So sometimes, though, when we express our idea to someone, they might say to us, what? You want to do what? What? Who are you kidding? Who do you think you are? Now, that's the kind of person you don't want to express your ideas to, because that will, for me anyway, it'll push me right back into my old, ooh, I'm not good enough posture. We are good enough to express every idea that we have, as long as it hurts no one else, as long as it's good for us and good for others, the universe will say yes, absolutely. And so what we need to do is to ignore the negative comments, put those outside in a basket someplace so that we don't have to hear them anymore, and really listen in the silence of our own heart to hear our own wisdom, our own intelligence, and our own will, so that we can allow this idea to blossom like a rose, to spread its petals out far and wide. And it seems like these ideas, this creative process, happens all in one night. Sometimes it feels like that. Another part of the Christmas story that we hear about is about Santa bringing gifts to all the girls and boys all around the world, all in one night, every Christmas Eve. When I was a little girl, I always thought that was kind of odd. How could one man do that? And climbing down chimneys, I didn't understand at all, because we didn't have a chimney at my house. But my mom and dad explained that he tiptoes through the front door. Okay, but me and everyone else, the whole wide world, it didn't seem possible. So then I began to watch Christmas movies and realized that the sleigh was magical and the reindeer flew and he just popped in and out of chimneys and got it all done. But you see, Santa can be metaphysically interpreted as well. Santa is the representation of love, the love of the Christmas season, the love of this holiday season, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or the other one just went out of my head. It'll come back, Kwanzaa. It doesn't matter. It's celebrating love. What we're celebrating at this time in December is absolute unconditional love. And that's why we give our gifts that are given from that place of love. We are the Christ child. We are the three wise men. We are even Joseph and Mary. You see, Joseph represents the masculine side of creativity. And the masculine side of creativity is interpreted as spirit or the divine. And Mary is the feminine side of creativity. And that is interpreted as the law. That's the piece of the creative process that allows the seed, the idea, to grow and blossom into an effect that is seen and touched and enjoyed on this earthly plane. We are all of the elements of all of the Christmas stories that we've heard. We are the ones. We are the ones. And Eckhart Tolle, I just love him. He has written in his book, he says, you are not in the universe. You are the universe, an intrinsic part of it. Ultimately, you are not a person, but a focal point where the universe is becoming conscious of itself. I'm going to say that again. You are a focal point where the universe is becoming conscious of itself. Right there, folks. This is who we are. It's miraculous. It's amazing to think that we are the universe. This Christmas, this holiday season, I want to invite us all to set an intention to remember that statement, to remember who you are. And remember where you have come from. You come from the universe. You are the universe here in human form, creating life to make the world a better place. Isn't that true? Yeah, raise your hand if that's true for you. Absolutely, absolutely. You see, we are the love that Santa is. And we're the greatest gift, the gift that we can give ourselves and the gift that we can share with others. And the greatest gift we can give ourselves is to remember who we are. So this day, I have an affirmation for you, and I really want you to embrace this affirmation because it is the truth of you. The affirmation is, I am a point of love in the universe, and I express this love every moment of every day. Now, the word love in this affirmation is a capital L, meaning I am a point of the infinite in the universe. I am the divine. I am God in the universe. I am the universe. I am it. And I love what Brother Mark said this morning in our meditation and opening prayer, that we are the pulse. We are the pulse of God. We are the heartbeat of the infinite. We are it. So today, let's repeat our affirmation. We'll say it like I have written it, and you can add to it about being the heartbeat of God and all of that as you move through your day and this week. So I will say some words and then you can repeat. I am a point of love in the universe. I express this love every moment of every day. Yes, you do. And so it is. Namaste.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Merry Christmas. Christmas comes this time each year. Woo-hoo. Well, away up north where the air gets cold, there's a tale about Christmas that you've all been told. And a real famous cat all dressed up in red, and it spends a whole year working out in his sled. It's a little Saint It's a little Saint Nick, just a little bobsled, we call that old Saint Nick. But you walk a toboggan with a 4-speed stick. She's candy apple red with a ski for a wheel. And when Santa hits the gas, man, just watch her peel. It's a little Saint Nick, it's a little Saint Nick. They're hauling through the snow at a frightening speed, with a half a dozen deer with old Rudy to lead. He's gotta wear his goggles 'cause the snow really flies, and he's cruising every pad with a little surprise. It's a little Saint Nick, yeah, it's a little Saint Nick. Ooh, Merry Christmas, Christmas comes this time each year.
And so now it is my pleasure to present today's announcements. And here they are for Sunday, December 20th. Join us. Remember, after service today, you can hang out in the Zoom room right here on the same link for about 30 minutes after service. We stay and say hello to everybody. And I see there are a few people who don't want their video on for us to see them. I want to encourage you to know that it's private. It won't be recorded. And so come on in. We don't care what you look like. We just want to say hello and check in, know that you're never alone. On Wednesday evening, this coming Wednesday, and every Wednesday for the past years, we have been doing a 7 to 8 p.m. meditation service and talk, and it has been beautifully facilitated by our own Reverend Dr. Renee Hart. She's also one of our licensed practitioners at CSL Redlands. It's a beautiful evening of meditation and inspiration. So come and join your midweek boost every Wednesday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. That's on Facebook Live. And also you can watch it, I believe, on our YouTube channel. And you want to ask to become a subscriber, please do that. On Thursday, December 31st at noon Greenwich time, which is 4 a.m. our time, you can join us in a simultaneous worldwide healing peace meditation on Zoom. This will be the 36th year for this amazing event. So watch your weekly e-news for the Zoom link and for this hour-long service. That's from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. on Thursday, December 31st. And then you probably received a mailing from CSL Redlands, right? If you haven't, you're gonna get one. And also, if you're on our friends roster, I'm hoping that you'll receive the pledge form as an attachment. And so the main thing to know about that is on Sunday, January 31st at 11:30 a.m., we will have our annual congregational meeting. So part of that is that we have to have a quorum. So if you're an actual member, we really need you to come. And we're going to allow for the physical center to be open that day, as well as for you to participate remotely via Zoom. Okay, either way, you want to vote and return your ballots, right, back in the self-addressed stamped envelope that was beautifully provided. You want to also please fill out your pledge card. So there's a self-addressed stamped envelope that's numbered for the ballots where it comes to voting. You have to be a member to vote, and it's not too late to join. So the good news is, if you have been thinking about becoming a member, let us know right away, okay? And we have to get you approved the second Sunday in January and to allow you to vote. So you have to move quickly if you'd like to be a member, and otherwise you're invited to participate. Whatever you do, the main thing as well that we need back from you is your commitment to become a regular contributor. And you can do that by filling out the pledge portion of this mailing, right? And it asks you to do that. I'm going to find it right here. It's worth us taking an extra minute to look at that. Where is that? Well, it's in your envelope. Let's put it that way. So fill out the pledge form, and then if you can mail it back to us, I'd really, really appreciate it, okay? The other thing you may see come up in the new year is a Change for Change type of campaign where we're asking you to consider foregoing one of these per day and sending in one of those per day. You can do it on our links to see who's really watching. We have hundreds and hundreds of people watching, so we're grateful to have your tithes and contributions and offerings. And I was just miraculously handed the pledge form for 2021. And so send it back in to us. And so those are the announcements for today. And now who am I passing it back to? I know, our beloved senior minister and spiritual leader, Reverend Carrie Masters.
Okay, thank you, Mark. I am here to bring us into a time for giving and enacting the law of circulation, the law of giving and receiving. And we know that as we receive, we also give, and it's a cycle. It just keeps going. When we give, what we're doing is expressing the love that we have for our center, and we're expressing our support for the Center for Spiritual Living in Redlands. And so we invite you to give from that heart space. There is no big or small in God. And if you give from that place of love, there is more that comes back to you as love and as gifts. So I want to let you know too that we have a donate button on our Facebook page. We also have a donate button on our website, cslredlands.org. And so you can easily contribute that way. You can contribute using Venmo or Zelle through your bank. It's my new favorite way to give. PayPal is an option, and you can also write us a check, and you can bring it to the church and place it in the secure mailbox at our building, or you can just put a stamp on the envelope and mail it to our center. No matter how you give or how much you give, we love you and appreciate you. So I'm going to request that you put your gift over your heart if you have it handy. And let's repeat our offering affirmation together. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world, and it returns to me abundantly. And so it is. And here's Gilman.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice, a spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice, a spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. You're a blessing to the world.
And now it's time for our closing healing prayer. So I'm going to invite you to become centered by closing your outer eyes and opening wide those inner spiritual eyes that can see the absolute truth. And the absolute truth is that there is only one life, one presence, one power, one infinite good. And this one life is expressing itself throughout the universe, throughout all of life. It is that presence and power that has created all that is and all that shall be, all that ever was. It is that divine creator. And I know that each one of us is that expression of the divine. We are the creator that is expressing on this planet. I know for each of us that we are surrounded by and filled with that infinite love, that infinite power and presence that allows us to speak our word with power, to speak our word with faith, to know that all things are whole and perfect, complete on every level. And so I speak my word for everyone within the sound of my voice. I know this morning that each one of us are blessed with perfect health, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And I know that as we move through this day and the coming days, that our health continues to be complete and whole. There is only wholeness in the universe. God isn't sick, and we are the divine, so we are not sick. And for those who are feeling the throes of dis-ease, I know for each one that wholeness is the truth of them, and that wholeness is revealing the healing that is the truth at the very center and core of everyone's being. And I speak my word for those of us who have lost friends and neighbors to any dis-ease, knowing that these friends and neighbors have moved into a higher vibration, a higher place of wholeness. And although we miss them being where we can see them, we know that they are with us always. I speak my word for each one of us, knowing that we are wealthy, we are supplied, we are abundant in every way. All that we give returns to us in grand abundance. And any healing that needs to take place that might be blocking our financial supply or any other supply is now healed. It is now dissipated and sent back into the universe from whence it came. There is no more lack. There is only abundance. And I speak my word for all those who are not living in homes at this moment. And we know that their home is right where they are, and their intuition is guiding them forward to shelter, to warmth, to love, to more than enough of all things to make life perfect. I take a moment to bless our Center for Spiritual Living in Redlands, knowing that this is a thriving center, a center that is thriving on every level. And every person associated with our church, everyone who even thinks of our church, is lifted up into the high vibration of their truth, their knowing that they are blessed and they are the blessing. I give thanks for every moment of this service today, for all of those who have brought their talents and gifts. I give thanks for all that is unfolding this day for each of us in our individual lives and in our collective lives. And so as I release my words into that creative medium known as the law that always says yes, I am deeply grateful knowing that the truth is already in form. And I know that we are the love that made it so. And so in gratitude and in release, I simply let it be. And we can claim it together by saying, and so it is. Amen. Aho. Ashe.
let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fail. Let me learn from all the ways I fail. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing. Let me share the good that's overflowing. And let me care for those around the world. Let me care for those around the world. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Thank you, Gilman. So we hope to see everyone at the fellowship time in Zoom in just a few minutes. We'll be there for a little bit. Peace and blessings, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.